That does not mean English is not taught. See, the schools have the option of teaching in English. It is advised that you teach them in the local language for the benefit of the students. Why not teach them English and the local language together? You know, a child till the age of 8 can acquire up to 5 languages. We are talking about 3 languages. The 3 language system. We're talking about the local language. We're talking about foreign language, that is English. We're talking about the classical language, which in some cases is going to be Sanskrit, some cases is going to be Urdu, some cases is going to be Tamil. So what is happening there? Not 5. We are talking about 3 languages. And a child at that young age, when the brain is all porous, you can absorb and absorb, let the languages come in. And one more important thing, if a child speaks 3 or more languages at a time, the brain works better. That's what research says. Imagine one sentence, you use 3 languages and still make sense out of it. That is logic. That's what we are talking about. Nowhere does it say that English should be taught after the 8th standard or 5th standard. It should be taught. We will not want our students to lag behind in the world, because by the time they become an age, they come to an age where they have to work, they should not be short of any language or any communication skills. So that is an important thing that we need to work on. So language will not be a barrier at all. Ma'am, I think there was a point put up that how many languages and which language should a school teach if they are kids from north, south, east, and west? Ma'am, there in such cases, they will use the local language. So suppose the child is in Delhi and there's somebody who's come from Mizoram and somebody who's come from Tamil Nadu, somebody's come from Gujarat, somebody from Punjab, they will teach in Hindi. But what if a child has just shifted from Tamil Nadu where they don't speak Hindi and he comes to Delhi? Then there's a challenge. There has to be bridge course. They will have to work on it. That is why you should have the other language also there. The common language for the entire country, English, should be there. Because like you rightly said, there can be confusion. Just look at Kendriya Vidyalayas, Indrajit sir. Kids come from any part of the country. There's a transfer, they have to come. What will they do? In a Kendriya Vidyalaya, you will have a northeastern person, you'll have a western, a child from West India, from South India, from North India, from anywhere. So there, that second language, which we call as English, which we call it this, will actually work to the benefit. So schools who are local medium should now understand that great, teach in your local language, but do not put English away. Start that at right from beginning. If you can say, teach them k, kh, g, you can teach them ABC also. Not difficult at all, but you need to start at that young age level. So what we've done as a company, in fact, you'll be surprised, we've actually designed a lab to teach Sanskrit. The first lab in the world, because we were approached by the current Ministry of HRD, the Education Department, they said we need Sanskrit. We created a lab to teach Sanskrit, and Indrajit sir, in 474 Kendriya Vidyalayas, that Sanskrit lab and Hindi lab and English lab has already been established. So what we need to do is bring this in. Technology can help students learn and teachers deliver. We talk about teaching, learning. But language is neither taught nor learnt, it is acquired. So what you do is you use software, you use language labs to actually give them a platform where they can actually work on it. And that's exactly what is going to happen. We have to understand technology is going to be there. If you always have a watch on your hand, you will have a PDA, a personal device in your hand always. And that's where technology will play, and that can be worked out. So again, what I would like to put up here is that schools should teach in the local language only core subjects so that the understanding is clear. But they should also bring in the other 3 languages so that the future of the child is good. Why local language? Not only to understand, but I need to know my local heritage. Why classical language? I need to know my country's heritage. There's a lot of knowledge, not information, buried in the scriptures of our country. Everything in Sanskrit. We are not even accessing it. And look at Germany. They are coming and looking at it. There's something good. Ma'am, you did talk about the Wright brothers who came up with the thing. But the first flight, the first aeroplane was made by an Indian after going through the scriptures. Though it lasted only for 39 seconds. It flew. but it wasn't in, and that thing was already there. हमने उड़न खटोला की बात तो सुनी है ना, वो सिर्फ बात नहीं है. It is not a fairy tale, it is not a myth, it was actually there. So what we are doing, or what this government is trying to do, or what more this policy is trying to do, let us come close to what we have. We are among the oldest of civilization. The oldest university is from our country. Like you earlier said, let's go back to our roots. That was a better education system, where you used to touch the feet of your teacher. You used to stay there and used to go and do the normal chores that the teacher's wife would ask us to do. That's actual learning. And that's where empathy comes. Whether the child is the prince of that state or a simpleton, they both used to study together. Krishna, Sudama studied together. Right? So that's what it is there. We have an NEP has all that. Though we can't expect people to become Krishna Sudama in this age, but we can at least have the thought processes, to have the empathy, to have the kind of learning that, because India, not only India, though India, the happiness index is among the lowest, we need to have happy children.
Right.
We need to have happy people. But not only that, we also need to have people who will take the country to the next level, because now there's a war between country to country, not for land. It is for who does better, who's got better people. Why is it said that Bhutan is a happy country? They have nothing, but they have abundance of happiness. But as a country, what we face, we will need to compete with the entire world, both in technology field, in commerce field, in production, and also in the empathy and happiness thing. So that's what I want to say. And if language acquired properly makes a person better person, if any language you acquire properly, you become socially more acceptable. Any language you acquire. So what I would say, I would conclude with this: technology, please accept technology, take it to the nth level. And second, languages, acquire as many languages as you can. You will always become a better person than what you are if you do that. And once again, kudos to the people who made this policy. They've actually thought a lot before they have come out of this. And I hope that people like us put in all the efforts that we need to make this policy a successful one. Thank you, Rajuji, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jaswinder sir. Absolutely, we all agree with you that we need to embrace technology, and absolutely, we all understand the power of language. We need to encourage our kids to acquire that. So, big thanks, Jaswinder sir. I'll be coming back to you with questions. Now, with this, I would invite the last speaker for this very special session, Mr. Xavier John. Xavier, you represent music, and music have been, mentioned by NEP more than 20 times in the document. So we all are excited to hear your ideas. Xavier, over to you.
Thank you, Rajuji. I come from the music background. I represent the company Torrens Music. We are basically music education providers. So I would be speaking on the lines of music and how music could improve the lives of children and add value to their lives, basically. Torrens Music started off from the United States 10 years back. And since then, we are in over 200 plus public schools in the US. What we have noticed is that, schools in the US, I'm talking about the public schools in the US, in spite of the fact that they are always short on cash, they are not very very well funded, but they still have laboratories which have a good amount of equipment for children, which means there is one instrument per child. That is the ratio. If there is a keyboard room, there is a room where every child is getting an opportunity to play a single keyboard. This kind of a setup we do not even see in our country. Even in the premium schools in India, where the children are paying a good amount of fees, we have seen as a music company that this infrastructure is what a country still lacks. And unless we allow our children a one-to-one access to facilities and resources, we will never see the change and the value addition which we desire. And I feel it is high time we value the contribution of music as a whole, in the well-beings of humans. And we really need to streamline the whole idea of music in the learning curriculum. Because what happens is, in the schools, when we observe, we see that we have music teachers. We definitely have music teachers, but that's always on a case to case basis. in most of the schools we do not see that there is a proper curriculum which is being taught to the children in the schools. The music teachers definitely come and teach, but most of the sessions which they conduct are for some kind of songs which the children need to perform in the assemblies or the concerts or probably a competition. So what we do as a company here, how do we add value to this? I would just like to share a small PPT with your permission, Rajulji. Yeah. Are you able to see the PPT?
Yes.
All right, thank you, thank you. Uh, See, we know that there is a rising case of psychological disorders between the children of ages 6 and 14, like anxiety, stress, suicidal tendencies, depression, and all these cases have just suddenly increased due to this uncertain lockdown type of situation caused by the corona pandemic. And so, what does music do? When a child listens to music or when a child plays a certain instruments, all right, this is not just in children, this is in the lives of every individual. When the brain listens to music, uh, there are some chemicals which the brain secretes as a response to the music that they're listening to. So these are serotonin and dopamine. Now these two chemicals, other than these two chemicals, there are other chemicals also which the brain generates. But then these two chemicals are mood boosters. We call them happy chemicals, and we see that cases in stress or depression or anxiety, we see that it is a lack of these chemicals. So even the psychiatrist would be giving medicines which would boost these chemicals, serotonin and dopamine. And when the child is listening to music or playing an instrument, these chemicals are being released. So the child knows that if I need to be in a happy zone, I need to be playing probably an instrument, or if I need to be listening to some kind of music. So in the back of the mind, there is a defense mechanism which is being created in the mind of the child. And there is a lot of research which has put into music for being used as therapy, for anxiety, blood pressure, pain, to improve the sleep cycle, the sleep quality, the mood, the memory, and the mental alertness. And just to talk about Torrens, the company which I represent today, we have taught over 2.5 lakh online subscribers across 140 countries. And this music program which we have is in over 85 plus schools across 28 cities in India right now. And these are some images from our live classroom. This is how our music rooms look like. This is how the rooms were given to us initially, and this is how we transformed the music rooms. These are all images from live classes. And talking about our resources, we have trained instructors who are proficient enough in providing personalized attention. The class schedules can be worked around and integrated according to the school's requirement. And talking about the online resources which we have, we allow children an access to the online side of torrents, and then the children can go home and access multiple videos, and all these videos can help the child improve. And it's like a homework which the children also can do at home, and the parents are given the access to this, and they know as to how many sessions have been conducted, what is being taught in the school. And these are some glimpses of the software which we use. On the left hand side, you can see this is the attendance marking. Here we've got the lesson marking, and this is a graphical representation of what is happening in the school, and the attendance and the number of days. So everything you can see, it happens in a real time basis. So what is taught in the class is updated at that moment in the class, and so the principal, the management can get an access to all this data immediately. And talking about a curriculum which has been designed by international experts. Most of them are Grammy Award nominees. They're from the US, and we have over 10 levels. Which has each, one level for each academic year. This is across guitars, keyboard, drums, ukulele, Indian, Western vocals, and tabla. And what happened during the lockdown, just like Jaswinder sir was emphasizing upon the importance of technology. So what we did is we innovated certain curriculum for these times called beatboxing, songwriting, home percussion, body percussion. And we all know that it is very difficult to teach music to children unless and until they are sitting in front of us. This was the previous notion. But what we did is when we came up with these courses, they have been formulated in such a way that the child can be taught music in the comfort of the child's home without having to own a particular instrument, at least to get an introduction to music. So this is how the children accepted the program. All these images are from the live sessions which we conducted. It was received very well by the kids, by their parents, and by the teachers. And these are some images from the All India Band Contest, which we conduct every year. It is held in the month of December in Pune. Unfortunately, last year we couldn't do it because of the pandemic. But this competition witnesses participation from most of the schools where music is very active, and all these children go through their zonal rounds and then they participate in the national level competition. It is witnessed by over 8 to 9,000 people, and celebrities from Bollywood and the music industry come and judge the competition. So these are also some images from the competition. And Ehsan Nurani of Shankar Ehsan Loy fame happens to be our ambassador, our mentor, and our partner. And Ehsan has been very instrumental in helping us mold the curriculum for our Indian schools. And he also visits the schools and conducts workshop for the students, just like Indrajit sir was mentioning a little while back, that he had invited renowned poets to the school to showcase their talent, and the children get an opportunity to interact with them. So this is also what we do. We invite music celebrities from across the country, and we do conduct workshops in school, and the children get an opportunity to interact with them and understand what is actually happening in the world of music. So over to you, Rajulji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sebio, for sharing the importance of music and sharing how Torrents can help schools in setting up the infrastructure. Big thanks. I'll come back to you with questions. Now, with this, we come to the last part of the session, which is the question part. Once again, big thanks to all our key speakers. Now, time for the question. I would also request all other participants, if you have any question, you can write in the chat box. I would also present those questions to our key speakers. So before I formally begin the question part, formally start sharing questions, I'll just take a minute, and I would share my screen for a minute to explain what exactly we have been doing at School Lalaji Solutions, and and after that I'll straight away start sharing questions. So most of you are already aware with School Lalaji Solutions. We are India's largest one-stop solution platform for educational institutions. We are present in more than 42 cities, working with around 4,500 institutions. We primarily help educational institutions in three ways. We help them in buying right thing from right people at right price. We also help them in selling their old stuff like their old buses, generators, furniture to other institutions who may need that. We also help institutions in raising money, that may be in terms of loans or fee financing. Why any school, why any educational institution would need a platform like School Lalaji? You already have your old suppliers, you have your team, you have your expertise. So why you need a platform like School Lalaji Solutions? There are two main reasons. One, India has more than 10,000 educational suppliers in different categories. So it's practically impossible for any school, for any school leader to reach out to everyone to understand all of those products which are available, to understand or differentiate between different products available. So here we come into picture. We understand your school, your taste, your actual requirement. We also understand your budgetary limitation, and we have category experts who talk to different companies who are offering different products and solutions. We also talk to their previous clients, to just certify their credibility. These are different areas where we are helping educational institutions, smart classroom procurement, uniform, insurance, diesel, solar plant, language labs, security solutions, furniture, recruitment, music classrooms, healthcare, robotics, STEM STEAM labs, career counseling, stationery, digital marketing, IT solutions, educational tour, generators, learning tools, and finance. And we take the guarantee that will save at least your 5 to 7% of your annual expenditure. So that's kind of a 5% additional revenue generation for the schools. Just one example, we saved 2 crore 40 lakh rupees for different schools in one category only, bus insurance. We are perhaps India's largest school bus insurance partner. Some major highlights of school Lalaji, we did an 8 megawatt plus solar installation. Even during the lockdown, we did a lot of solar installation in different institutions. 3,000 plus insurance, 400 plus smart classrooms, 2,000 plus cameras, 350 plus training programs, 56 old buses, uniform in 42 schools. By the end of 2021, we aim to reach out to 10,000 institutions. We need your support, your guidance, your blessings. So I'll end my talk here. And after this, we'll straight away come to that question part. So I would now first request Millie ma'am, if I may present the first question to you. Millie ma'am, do we have your presence? Okay, I would request Yachna ma'am, if I may present the first question to you. I believe we have lost the connection with Millie ma'am. She'll be joining us back. Yachna ma'am. Yeah. So, ma'am, this question has come from Miss Manjunath. She's an assistant teacher with Panditya Euro School, Assam, Karnataka. The question says, is it possible? Is it the implementation of NEP? Is it possible in India with the kind of mentality we have, for Indian parents, like the mentality Indian parents has? So with that kind of mentality, she's asking whether it is possible to implement this policy.
I just want to satisfy her what I want to say in my life and my experiences. Every time we get mixed group of people. When we teach in the class, we get mixed kind of children, those who come from different backgrounds. And in the same way, we meet different kind of people. There are different category of parents. Some of the parents, they listen to the school and some of the parents do not. So what I want to say, as CCE was introduced, then many schools were there. Whatever was there in that CCE system, they executed and they did everything in letter and spirit. But there were some schools who have
you have been muted, ma'am. Rachna ma'am.
If all the stakeholders will work collaboratively, I think to some extent we can implement all the policies of NEP. But if we see this NEP thoroughly, then what I think it is more for socio-economic lesser privileged children. It is for economically weaker section. As we know, education is a great leveler. So Government of India through NEP wants to make a level in the society for the education. उनका एम यही है कि सारे भारत के बच्चों को एक जैसा एजुकेशन मिले, लेकिन उसमें जगह जगह चैलेंजेस हैं, एज आई हैव शेयर्ड विद यू. तो उसके लिए जैसे हमारे पब्लिक स्कूल्स हैं, अगर हम आंगनवाड़ी को स्ट्रेंथन करते हैं, अगर हम उनके टीचर्स को भी मतलब दिल बड़ा करके उनके टीचर्स को भी अपने टीचर्स के साथ ट्रेन करते हैं, अपना कुछ जो भी हम लोग हमारे जो अच्छे लेसन प्लान्स है, अगर हमारा कुछ अच्छा सॉफ्टवेयर है उनके साथ शेयर करते हैं, तो आई थिंक टू सम एक्सटेंट दिस कैन बी डन.
Right. Thank you all.
Three C's are very important. 3 C's are very important. That is children, change, and collaboration. We are doing everything for the